Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Geek Out, hosted by those guys Geek. I'm Steve.
I'm Jason.
I'm Chris.
I'm Mike.
Hi, I'm Charles.
And we're back with another episode. Obviously, we're here today to talk about a bunch of stuff that we thought was interesting this week. Charles has our heads ringing with a ringtone that he absolutely loves right now, but we're going to put all that aside and we're going to talk about some mobile news. Guys, Blackberry had some really great news this week.
Interesting news.
By great,
I'd call it interesting. I don't know if I'd call it great, but
well, by great I meant really bad.
Okay.
Is this you just trying not to say the thing is shitty before we actually start?
I'm trying very hard this week to not say everything is a piece of shit.
So Jason, why don't you tell us about your impressions? Because I think you're the one who was all gung ho for this.
Well, okay, let's gung ho. I don't know.
You said it'll be my next device.
I said it would be
Quote,
my next
unquote.
device. That is quote Facebook status. I'm not gonna lie. If the specs are true on the PRIV, I don't know what the I know it's supposed to be like privacy is what they're going for with their naming.
And privilege.
Let's
And
call it
privilege,
the
right?
PRIV.
That's the PRIV. I think it's smart that they're going with Android. Obviously, OS X is not been. It's too little, too late for them. Clearly, they were too late to the game, and we all know BlackBerry's troubled history. So, I mean, a move to Android is kind of it makes sense if they want to stay in the hardware business. But I don't know about you guys. I miss my BlackBerry hardware sometimes. I don't miss the software, but I think they've always made a good quality handset in terms of call reliability and usability. And I miss the physical keyboard.
So
Just
explain. Like I didn't see the video, but I've heard about it. So the keyboard slides out on it. It's a slide.
Yeah, it's a sliding keyboard, I believe.
And I heard that the keys are capacitive, so they work as like your trackpad.
It looks that way, yeah.
Something like that. That's fucking.
Well, that's what the what was that other one that just
The
came?
Passport does that
Have a
too.
terrible
Yeah.
passport. Yeah.
Gonna be
yeah,
the
no,
ugliest
you are
phone. Yeah.
You are right, yeah. The keyboard slides out of the bottom. Kind of like, do you remember the old BlackBerry sliders? What were they called?
Yeah.
Torch. Yeah.
Torch, yeah. The keyboard's similar to something like that with a capacitive keyboard.
I've always said myself that I always said BlackBerry makes good hardware. They just make really bad software. At least,
Yeah, that's true.
At least recently, like I've been saying it now for the past 2 years. I thought that the best direction BlackBerry could go in, because BlackBerry 10 was a huge failure. I don't know about any of you guys what you heard, but I mean a lot of customers that I served when I was back working in cell phones at the time when BlackBerry 10 came out, I had people bringing them back and wanting to go with old 9900s just because of the syncing between their email and whatnot. It just was not working, and it just does not seem they've fixed any issues that they've had. I mean, people weren't able to sync their phones to that stupid BlackBerry Live program, and
How much do you like it, Steve? How much do you like it?
It was no. I'm sorry. I was hoping to have
Steve,
I was
Steve,
hoping to have
is
one
it a piece
thing,
of crap, Steve?
It's a piece of shit. So anyway, BlackBerry Live, it was just a terrible program for their phones. They should have just used the desktop software. It was way more better. It was simple. It was easy to use. But I said, at least I found it when I had a BlackBerry, but I always said BlackBerry always made, like you said, Jason, had good hardware. I mean, that Torch was, I liked the Torch. I thought it was a great phone. I liked the 9800 when I had it before that. And, yeah, so, I mean, BlackBerry and Android, to me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I think this is a good move for them. But, I mean, reporting a loss here recently, they're kind of going into this launch kind of low, I think.
Well, I'm going to throw it out there, guys, if you don't mind. I'm just going to say I think this is a precursor to them being totally bought out by a particular Android-making hardware manufacturer.
I agree.
Yeah, I think this is just them showing that company, hey, we're for sale, and we're willing to go there, and they're doing it.
And if you look at other companies, like this just brings a lot of nostalgia to what happened with Palm back when they released their Palm OS, and then HP bought them up, and now Palm just doesn't exist anymore. And I think BlackBerry, they've obviously been struggling to stay relevant, and it's just, I think their operating system was 2 years too late, and the hardware they put it out on was 2 years too old. So it just kind of, they were kind of screwed when they came out with that. So it's just been kind of like we've all been waiting to see what's going to happen next, and it just makes sense that an Android manufacturer will probably buy them out at some point.
They might go the way of Nokia did with Windows, where Windows bought Nokia, and now Nokia is no longer a brand on these phones. It's just Windows Phone. But I think if BlackBerry is smart and the manufacturer that they do go with later on, I think if you keep the BlackBerry name on the phone, you will sell devices with an Android operating system. Because I think people go to BlackBerry not because of the operating system, it's because they know the past, they know the device, they love the device, and it's because they have BlackBerry written on it.
See,
so I think they should keep
I'm
it.
going to play devil's advocate here, Steve, because I don't think that's going to help at all. I think that, and again, I've been out of the game longer than you guys have, but I was in the game for a long time. I think at the end of the day, BlackBerry's market share has been eaten up so hard by the other guys, we'll call them, that I'm not saying they're not. I mean, back in the day, I don't care who you are. If you were a business person, back in the day, you were a BlackBerry user, period.
100%.
And obviously, at the same time, too, I mean, even though I'm not a BlackBerry user, I haven't been for a long time, there's a part of me that always hits you right in the feels just because of, where they're from and what they like. I've always wanted to see RIM succeed, or BlackBerry succeed, excuse me. It's just one of those things. But again, they're so far out of the loop that I think they're pretty much irrelevant. And yes, they are going to get purchased, probably by a large company that rhymes with frugal. It just doesn't make sense that it's what's best for BlackBerry as an organization.
But moving on from that, since we're talking about Android news and where BlackBerry's going with, Charles, you had followed some Android news this week. What's going on in Google's world this week?
Well, September 27 marks their 17th birthday. Interesting, I guess.
Almost legal.
Almost.
That's ironic considering.
On the 29th, they're having their big launch party. It's the Google show in San Francisco. They've got a couple launches with two new Nexus devices. So they have their LG Nexus 5X and Huawei Nexus 6E. It's a 5.7-inch screen. Has a 3,450 milliamp battery though. Pretty big.
That's nuts.
It's big. I heard the new 6. The screen's going to be actually a little smaller than the old 6, something like that. Anyway, they're changing the size, and both of these devices come with fingerprint readers on the back of them.
Yeah.
So that's probably going to be for the new Google Pay options, I would think.
Yeah. Well, Marshmallow, their 6 release comes out with. There's the Google Pay, the Google Now on tap, so you can tap, and whatever's on your screen, Google Now is going to take and give you some movie tickets. You can buy tickets. You can find, if you're watching like a YouTube video, apparently you're going to be able to, if you use the Google Now tap, you'll be able to get information about that artist, that whatever that video, more videos of the same. So I don't know. There's a few little features coming out. I mean, Android Pay. I mean, to match, Apple Pay.
Which still doesn't exist here yet.
Do you think?
Yeah, still. Yeah.
Just slid that right in there.
Actually, though, also another big thing too. Sorry, Mike. To Jason too. You were talking about USB Type-C earlier on. Everything's now going to be Type-C ready.
Yep.
And
Nice.
the new devices are coming out with
So does that mean they're going to put Type-C on as the port on the phone?
What I was reading, I don't think on these Nexus they have the Type-C, but there's a few devices that are coming out shortly. Actually, Windows has 2 devices. Their Lumia, there's a 950 and 960 XL. Those will have the Type-C USB port.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that's a real departure for the standard that's been around for 5 years now, easy, right? That they've been using micro USB.
Oh, it's been longer than 5 years.
And those ports, I mean, it's the most commonly broken thing on a phone, right? Is those ports. So it'll be interesting to see a reversible port, like the Type-C is reversible, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, look at when Apple brought in the Lightning connector, and as much as everybody was pissed off about that when it went from 30 pin to Lightning, but again, it was a reversible port. Cables weren't breaking anywhere near as much. That being said, they still break. I mean, it's
they still break, but the port doesn't seem to break as much. That's the thing.
No,
the
exactly.
The port itself is fine. The cables kind of suck a little bit, but
I've never broken one of those lightning cables. I don't know about the mass amount of teenage girls out there that I heard that broke them.
But, I break mine honestly, and if you're comparing me to a teenage girl, but I usually go through one every 2.5 months.
Well, I don't know. Your Bieber,
Justin Bieber was a Canadian icon. In fact, if you're watching this right now,
yeah, I doubt it.
Oh my. Well, out of all this news, we do have some good news and kind of like, kind of news. Apple sales this week. Obviously, the new iPhones came out this week. 13 million reported sold on launch day.
Have you guys got your hands on one and tried it?
Yes, I have played with it.
Yeah. So the 3D Touch is actually pretty much a fundamental hardware change, I have to say. I think everybody's going to copy this as soon as possible. I think every Apple device from here on out is going to have 3D Touch built in as a core feature. It's going to set Apple apart for the first little bit from everyone else. It is actually, I like to think of it like right-click for my finger. It's very, very cool.
Well, I got my first taste of 3D Force Touch on the watch, obviously. It's got Force Touch right on it. So it's kind of like the first pre-iteration, but you are right, Mike. It's like a right-click mouse button, and it'll give you up the extra options you're looking for. And the things that I did like on it, just to be able to preview those photos quickly, just by holding the Force Touch, or be able to set as many as you can. Once developers get their hands on what this 3D Touch can do, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, the peek and pop, I demoed a little peek and pop thing where the peek basically takes, let's say you sent me a link to a website in a chat message. I can put my finger down on it and it'll pop or peek a bubble up on the screen, and if I like the content, I push a little harder, and it pops right into Safari. Yeah, I know it sounds dirty, but I like the terminology. It is dirty.
I was thinking of it in like a gaming sense when I was playing around with it the other day at one of the kiosks in the mall. You know how when you're in games and you can press and hold a button and a menu comes up at the same time, instead of having to go in and out of inventory menus when you're playing mobile games, because mobile games are getting a little bit bigger. I'm thinking it's going to bring into mobile gaming into Apple a little bit more of features that we're seeing on consoles, kind of like in pop-up menus and stuff like that, because mobile games are still, they're very simple in terms of, at least I find some of the games that I play in terms of inventory lists, so switching between weapons and whatnot in certain games. I think it's going to make it a lot easier, and it's just going to be a complete. I think it's going to do wonders for the phone. I wish I had it. That's one of the biggest features I wish I had on my 6 Plus right now. So.
There does seem to be one feature that a lot of people are lamenting a bit is the Wi-Fi Assist. Probably more so in Canada where we don't have unlimited data plans, but a lot of people are upset that by default, if you're on Wi-Fi and the signal drops too low, the phone automatically just starts pulling data if you're using iOS 9. So
only if you're in a 4G or an LTE area, though.
Yeah. Which, I mean...
I agree with you.
That's a double-edged sword. I actually, if we stop for a second and think of Apple solely as trying to create an experience for their user and forget about the fact that they're not an internet provider, what they're really trying to achieve with Wi-Fi Assist is actually commendable. They want to make sure that while you're listening to Apple Music, if you walk too far away from your Wi-Fi connection, that it just simply drops over to LTE and continues going seamlessly without any lag, without any issue whatsoever. That's actually a phenomenal feature and something that most companies or most hardware companies would actually be scared to do. And I think that comes from the fact that Apple basically doesn't care whether you have internet, how you get your internet. They're just trying to make sure you have a seamless experience, and it's kind of a testament to their software melding with their hardware kind of thing.
Well, and it's got to be super, super difficult to pull off because, realistically, you're actually switching between two different networks. You're pulling two different IP addresses.
Yeah, to switch the data stream immediately and pick up seamlessly somewhere else. That's insane.
Yeah.
So,
But to
but I
them,
mean,
it's all about
other
the
than
end user
that,
experience, though.
you're totally right, Jason. Like, it's going to kill. Like, I shut it off on mine. I shut it off on my wife's, especially my wife's. I want to make sure that hers doesn't dip into the data, because data in Canada is insanely expensive. So
That said, I've never had an issue with it though. I mean, it's done it for me, but I've never had an issue with it.
I haven't had an issue with it. I do have it off just because I don't, like, there's certain things, like I get Wi-Fi in school, so I don't want to be going between Wi-Fi and 3G all the time. I want it to stay on one. But one thing I want to mention, guys, and this just quick note on this one, or actually ask, is do you think that features like this, now that they're going to be becoming a little bit more prevalent in phones, do you think this is going to be a time where these manufacturers may start lobbying in Canada to bring better internet for mobile devices to give that user experience a little bit more so we can actually take advantage of them? Or do you think it's just going to be like the same as...
I think they'll try, but I think it'll take a while before you ever see anything like that happen, because every provider knows they've got every user by the balls here in Canada.
Oh, they do, man.
So I think probably what you mean more so than like, well, they might lobby to try to get better plans and cheaper rates, but we actually do have, like, honestly, some of the best quality mobile internet in any country, and that's through a variety of different carriers in Canada that offer really, really high-end streaming data services through mobile. But we pay a super premium for it because of the low population, and I think that these companies probably, to some degree, I mean, they care, but they don't care that much. It's not like the United States where, there's a huge pie to be had, and they're going after that for sure.
No, but at the same time, Mike, and I want to get everybody's opinion on this, and that is, regardless of and I mean, you guys know for a fact, and we're all the same way, we don't mind spending money for premium product. If you're getting the best, you don't mind spending money to get it. But nothing, I don't care what you say and how good the network is, the fact of the matter is Canadians get fucked in general by cellular companies.
100%.
Oh, yeah, agreed. And I think the manufacturers take advantage of our dollar value as well. So when our dollar was really up, they actually didn't lower their prices, and when our dollar goes down, they actually raise the prices. So you go figure. I mean, there's never it's always been kind of, they subsidize all of their activities in the United States on the backs of Canadians, I find.
Well, I'll give you an example, too, because, I mean, I get 6 gigs a month on my phone. And I can tell you that my average monthly usage, and I use my phone a lot, is about 5.5, we'll say 5 to 5.5 gigs a month.
Wow.
This month I'm at 6.5.
How much porn are you watching on your phone?
First of all, lots. Second of all, when it's streaming, it's nothing but the best.
Only HD quality, right, Chris? Only HD.
So that's what I'm saying. So, like, this update alone, like, I've already gone, I'm at 6.5 gigs because I finally turned mine off. Now, whether that's where it is or what it is, like, I have no idea. But
so since we're talking mobile stuff, why don't we shift gears a little bit? Because I seem to keep coming back to this every time. It's my Star Wars, we'll say. But Samsung announced a new Gear VR Consumer Edition in the United States. There's no word on a Canadian version.
$100, eh?
$100.
That's crazy.
$100 for something that previously was kind of like a developer's gadget trinket kind of thing. It was $250 American or Canadian for the one that's available for like the older hardware. So this one specifically works only with the new generation. But did you guys see any stuff about this? It looks pretty sharp.
I did, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it.
Oh my God! It's not a piece of shit. Someone write that down. Jesus.
That should be the title of this episode.
It's not a piece of shit.
It's not a piece of shit.
It's a piece
No,
of
it's
shit,
it's good. Chris, you hit the nail on the head, man. $100 that it makes it affordable for consumers. The only thing I didn't catch is if it's only Samsung only. Is it?
Yeah. So right now it's Samsung only. It's obviously in their big partnership with Oculus, which is weird because Oculus is now owned by Facebook, and like you got to wonder what's going on there. But
man, this is crazy. Oculus. That's another thing too, Mike. I'm glad you mentioned that because that's one thing I found really crazy was Oculus, man. Excuse me. And we're going to talk a bit about Sony now in a moment, but Oculus is really coming in strong. Like, a lot of people didn't think they were going to really take off, but I mean, now they're owned by Facebook. They've got a partnership with Microsoft for Xbox VR. They now got with Samsung. It seems like they're dipping their hands into every bit of the pot. They're going to be the big name in VR. I mean, forget anything like Sony's Morpheus or whatever. It seems like Oculus has taken over.
Well, Oculus has been around since the start of it, right? They were the first real one to jump on to the new generation of VR tech. I think Samsung, I don't know, I was surprised. I didn't even know Oculus had a hand in their VR situation, and I don't know if they helped develop the technology or what the deal is there.
So basically what it was, from the long and short of it is that Samsung approached Oculus because Oculus's biggest issue was that they were tethered with this massive cable that also they didn't have any sensors that detected motion, like the head movement, right? Mm-hmm. So Samsung approached them and said, listen, we have these gyroscopes built into, originally it was for the Note 4, and they said we have these gyroscopes, we have this high resolution screen, we can provide the screen and the motion sensors, and you can provide the rest of the technology. And that's how the partnership started. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, it definitely looks like it's in terms of the mobile sense. It's definitely something that I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait for it to be non-Samsung and see if any of the other companies get into it. But one quick note, guys, before we move on to two topics that I know we're going to have a lot to say about. If you are going to be picking up Battlefront in November, the beta was announced for October 9th, so get on that and get that all good to go. So
how do you get into that beta, Steve? Do you know?
I don't know.
I can tell you, everybody's getting it.
I've all I seen was I just seen the release date for it. I haven't had a chance to really sit down and research it, but
is it gonna pop up on my Xbox dashboard or something like that? Like just says sign up now.
No, just use the Force, bud. It'll
use the Force. Yes.
You're getting it on the Xbox? I thought you were gonna get it on the PS4. What's that? What's this, Mike?
I can't. I want to, but I can't.
So, Chris, you read one of the articles, not just like the headline, and actually it is going to be available for everybody, not just people who pre-ordered.
Well, it's the first time they've done it. Yeah, everybody's going to have access to it.
Yeah, it's an open beta.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, I just saw it in quick glance going through the news that it was on October 9th. I didn't actually go into the article and read the full thing. So I mean, it's good.
You're a busy student now. We get it. You're too good for articles.
But quickly, guys, before we get on to what I think is going to be our main topic, I just want to mention, since we're kind of coming off from mobile, Sony announced this week that they're saying goodbye to mobile gaming completely.
Well, they didn't come out right and fully say it. They just kind of said, we're not making a Vita 2. That was the first. They were. I think this was on AGN. They were asked if they were making a Vita successor, and they said no. Mostly because they feel that the mobile market is heavily dominated by the smartphone explosion now. That it doesn't make sense. I mean, realistically, if you guys remember back at E3 this year, they said nothing about the Vita except that you could tether it to your PS4. So it kind of just felt like, I remember saying this before, that it felt like they were really turning it into a PlayStation accessory more than a standalone kind of console. Whether that's the actual case, who knows? But
Mike, input, because I know you're a Sony fanboy.
I do like Sony. I've always wanted to have them be successful in the mobile space when it comes to Vita, and like even the PlayStation Portable. Always felt like it just kind of missed the mark a little bit, and I think that it's funny that they come out saying that cell phones are the problem when really Nintendo's just been smoking them for years when it comes to this stuff. I mean,
I used to love my PSP. I had one, and I thought,
they're good machines. But have any of you guys, Charles? Did you ever own a Game Boy or a DS or any of those things?
Yeah.
So I mean, realistically, when I think of classic handheld gaming experience, I think of Tetris.
The original Tetris on the original
Game Boy. And
Absolutely.
There was nothing better. It's still, in my mind, one of the best experiences out there that you can have. So, I don't know. It's sad to see them go down. But really, the Vita was a glorified second screen experience for a long, long time now. It hasn't had any kind of exclusive content that would draw anybody to buying it. So.
They tried really hard with like Uncharted and Metal Gear, and I just think Nintendo really held a good grasp on keeping mobile gaming more expansive than smartphone gaming, but still casual. Whereas Sony seemed to really target like their hardcore audience, which is usually their big focus, and I think that's honestly what kind of slowed them down a bit.
But they've been making some big moves on. There you go.
Go ahead. That's awesome.
Nice. They've been doing really good though in the with the PS4 though. So if they can really enhance that service, I mean, because really.
I think this comes right on the heels of them announcing their VR, like how they're going to go. And I think if you really consider hardcore mobile gaming, they realize those hardcore players are playing at home on their mobile device. So why not strap it to their eyes and then let them do it that way? That's what I say.
Strap it to their eyes. Fuck it.
Well, guys, one thing that is changing this year, on kind of the note of change and stuff like that, is Call of Duty on the last generation consoles is not getting a campaign.
Not just Call of Duty.
Before we get it.
Didn't you say
just Call of Duty?
Yeah, so Rainbow Six,
Yeah.
the new Rainbow
yeah,
Six is
for
not
Rainbow
getting
Six.
campaign.
That's going to be a great game.
So now, before
Awesome.
we get into our own opinions about what we think of those particular games not getting campaigns, do you think this is the beginning, Mike, like you were saying before, of the FPS genre, especially the big names like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Rainbow Six, so the Tom Clancy games and stuff like that? Do you think this is the time when FPS games are kind of losing?
I think quite literally, there's going to be two types of SPFs. There's going to be co-op, which is going to be campaign-based, but you need to have your friends along for the ride. And I think there's going to be FPS, like first-person shooter, gaming, like professional gaming league type stuff. I got to be honest. I think the last time I played through a Call of Duty campaign was probably Modern Warfare 3, and that's like how many generations ago? That's a long, long time ago. So I basically stopped playing the campaigns a long time ago on those games, and I don't know. What are your guys' opinions about that? Like, do you play through the campaigns? What's the most recent campaign you played through on one of these games that we normally just play online all the time?
Do you know when the
have
last time I
campaigns?
played a campaign was? Whenever you guys aren't online. Like, it's sad to say, but that's the truth. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying. I think the last actual campaign I played through. Holy shit! Yeah, I couldn't even tell you.
I tell you, here's my biggest concern with all of this, and I don't care if it comes with a campaign or not. I mean, realistically, I buy those shooters to play. They're a social platform for me to play with you guys. You're across the country from me. I mean, granted, we don't do it near as much as we used to, unfortunately, because I mean,
Stupid wives and girlfriends.
we
and
all have
babies.
lives, and it's difficult. But I mean, let's take a look back at Titanfall, for example, which came out last year, and it didn't have a campaign.
It was great.
And it was a decent game. Like, the mechanics were solid. But why am I paying $60 fucking for a multiplayer game?
Yeah.
Why are these games not like $30 or $40? And I guarantee you, Call of Duty is going to come out full price. Don't care if it has a campaign or not. They're not going to knock the price down.
No.
And then you got to buy the season pass. too.
Right, I was just
Yeah.
going to say, it's Charles hits it right on the head. It's a money-making machine. It prints money.
Well, and they're going to sell.
So that's the thing. You guys know we're all going to buy Battlefront. It's going to happen. Star Wars Battlefront. Whether we all get it on the same day or not, well, we're all going to get it on the same day.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
However,
Mine is paid off. I'm just waiting for it to come in the store.
yeah, me too.
I think the last really great campaign game that we played, if I'm being honest, is the Borderlands series. So Borderlands 1 and 2 and all the add-ons for them. And those were phenomenal games. And those campaigns, they suck if you play them by yourself. I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not nearly as fun unless you have other people with you.
But they're even a different kind of first-person shooter, though. They're like designed to be role-playing type games. And
Right.
I think that's kind of like, I mean, if you look at like Destiny, even for example, took a big cue out of the Borderlands MMO
That
style.
mechanic was flawless.
It's interesting to see how they're trying to evolve the first-person shooter franchise by incorporating other elements of other game genres.
But it's really interesting to see because I feel like that lone wolf kind of game. I'm thinking back to like Doom or Half-Life, where you sit down by yourself, nobody else is online with you, you're actually not even online, and you burn through the campaign, and it's an amazing experience. I feel like that might be almost dead. I'll put one exception to that, might be the new Halo game, although Halo does have a huge online stuff, and multiplayer and co-op is a big deal with it. So,
well, one thing I was going to mention, Mike, was the fact that Halo seems to be a really popular FPS that is still holding on to that true solo campaign. I find Call of Duty's kind of turned more into 5 minutes of gameplay, and then you have about 10 or 15 minutes of QuickTime events. So but now Call of Duty is more geared towards an action movie kind of thing. So you're not so much playing a game as you're playing a movie. So I just find that the games are more so going for, once again, like that experience that you have when you're playing the game, and not so much that full-on experience that we had, when you play Doom or whatnot. That it wasn't so focused on the cutscenes; it was more focused on the experience of you trying to get out of it. So I think Halo's retaining.
I think Halo is able to kind of succeed differently too, because it really focuses on a central character, and it's a franchise that's their core focus has been like the story of the Master Chief, and that's been what it's been since Halo. Maybe not Halo 1 so much, but Halo 2, they really started building the whole universe a lot deeper. And I mean, now people who have been Microsoft or Xbox fans all along really give a shit about that character, whereas you play Call of Duty and it's like some of the games connect, some of them don't. It's 3 different fucking developers every year.
Well, and it's all so rehashed, so bad.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
It's the same thing, same damn thing. But like, you get your Halo, you get Tomb Raider. Is there anything else? I mean, there's not a whole lot more that's really.
Speaking of which, in campaigns, ever since Tomb Raider was like last month's Xbox free game, I played it again. It's still great.
Fantastic, right?
So let me ask you guys a question. Every year we've religiously bitched about Call of Duty and religiously bought it on the day that it was released, and then play it stupidly for 4 months at least straight. What are your guys' plans this year? Because there seems to be a very crowded first-person shooter.
Truth is Battlefront's going to get a lot of my love this year.
That's it.
Like, I mean, if we're having such a great time in that experience, I'm not going to want to switch. Now, I'm not saying I won't buy Call of Duty, because I mean, of course we will.
I'm not.
It's going to be really.
Not
Yeah,
doing
I
it.
thought about not buying it.
Not doing it.
I tell you, I have 3 games pre-ordered this holiday season. Battlefront, which I just bitched about because it falls under the category of no single player, but I'm paying $80 for it so I can play with you guys.
Yeah, but it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars, and it
That's
looks
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
I have Rise of the Tomb Raider, which looks phenomenal.
Looks
and I have
unreal.
Halo 5, the fucking $300 Legendary Edition, waiting for me to purchase.
What does
on
it
day
come
one.
with, like Master Chief, like an
It comes
actual?
with this great big
Does it come with the
statue.
Warthog?
Man, I'm excited, but I mean, I don't have Call of Duty in my bucket this year, which is crazy because the Black Ops games have typically actually been pretty decent.
Yeah, I know. Like Black Ops, and this year it's that third developer, isn't it? That's doing it.
Yeah, but I played the beta, and I felt that the beta was like, it's trying to really kind of pull from the Titanfall, and it's not doing it. It's not good.
Speaking of which, boys, is there ever going to be a Titanfall 2? Like, that was a
Yes.
pretty amazing first run for Respawn, right?
It looks like there is, but it's going to be multi-platform, eh? They're not going to go Microsoft only.
But I think that's a good thing. I think that opens it up to a bigger
it does.
audience. So it'd be
Just-
interesting to see. It's just been really quiet about that game, though, right?
Just quickly to let you know, I'm not going to have any time for Call of Duty this year because I pre-ordered Fallout 4. So that right there, like you said, for you, Chris, Battlefront's going to take up your time. I'm going to have that and Fallout 4. So I'm just probably going to end up withering away in a room playing Fallout 4.
What about the Division as well, when Division comes out?
Yeah, I can see myself getting into a game like The Division. Fallout 4, the thing about those games from Bethesda, I love them, but I do think that you need to have a lot of dedication. And what always happens to me is I get through like the first part of the game, and then I kind of start shooting squirrels off in the woods somewhere, and get really like sidetracked for like, and then like 5 days go by, and I'm wondering why I play that game anymore, and then I go play Call of Duty.
I'm with Jason on this one. I'm treating the Division with a lot of curiosity and a lot of excitement, but I'm not going to get it right away. I want to see if it pans out decently.
Yeah, I think the concern with the Division is, will it be Ubisoft's Destiny fiasco when it launches? Is that why it's been delayed so much? Like, what's the deal?
How great is it that we can actually consider things the Destiny fiasco? How
Right.
great is that?
But Ubisoft has had some trouble in the past too. By what was the game that came out last year?
Assassin's Creed
Assassin's
Unity.
Creed.
Well, that's a great example of a massive issue. But what was the game that they showed off? We all bought it.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
Yes. So Watch Dogs was the game where they showed it off. It looked fucking amazing, and then it releases, and it was like, it might as well have been made on the Atari 2600 because it was shit.
Yeah. I think that's a whole other conversation we can have another time, is about, developers really showing off, over-promising and under-delivering, because, I mean, there's countless experiences like that.
I think we might have hit something here, which maybe we'll make a special out of this, but Ubisoft seems to have a real bad track record for that. Really bad. Steve?
Yeah,
wanna
Steve,
speak to
what
this?
are your thoughts and opinions on Ubisoft?
Steve?
Let's cut to Steve right now because he's foaming at the mouth.
Because I'm a huge Ubisoft fan.
I think it's a pile of shit, Steve.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Their Assassin's Creed line has kind of had been ups and downs, and
You're phasing
they
out.
had a really great concept with the first one, and it was the Ubisoft's been great. I liked Watch Dogs. I don't like the fact that it was downgraded considerably, but I still enjoy the game. But for Assassin's Creed, I still haven't played Unity yet. I've owned it for like a year. I have played Far Cry 4, and that game is fucking amazing. But the last real good game Ubisoft released was Black Flag. That thing was absolutely amazing.
I'll tell you, the last great game Ubisoft released was Child of Light. Just saying.
Good game drop, bud.
I like those. I like those Ubisoft the runners that they put on my Apple device. They got some great runners on there. So
no, Ubisoft's I enjoy Ubisoft. I get the Assassin's Creed game every year, so that's my Call of Duty. I surprisingly don't have this year's pre-ordered yet, so.
You're a fucking liar, is what you're saying.
I will get it. I will get it. I just don't have it pre-ordered because Battlefront and Fallout, like,
Fair.
come on, it's
fair.
Star Wars and Fallout 4, so
I don't
Assassin's Creed
have
goes off to the
Fallout.
side.
I don't have Fallout 4 on my list at all. So
Yeah.
Well, I played Fallout 3. That was like my game that was always played for like months on end. So
are you gonna get the one with the watch on it, Steve? The one that comes with the big thing that
the
goes
actual
over your arm?
Pip-Boy, yeah.
No, I
What do they
decided
call
not
it?
to get that one.
Pip-Boy 3000.
The Pip-Boy 3000. But no, I decided not to get that one. It was just money that I couldn't justify spending.
Which
You
crazy,
could-
those things sold out quick. Like
They
the
sold
pre-ordered
out
ones, they
very
sold out
quick.
in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, they sold out in Australia. They sold out immediately when they went on sale in the United States and Canada. So
And you know what's crazy about it? They're like a fucking smartwatch. You need your goddamn phone to use it.
Just
Yeah.
saying, my Apple Watch comes back into play.
Yeah, well,
no, I decided not to sink that money in. But I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I think Ubisoft's got a great lineup coming up. They're revitalizing Ghost Recon. They're bringing back a very beloved series, which is Rainbow Six, which I think is going to be their Call of Duty.
It's going to be a good one.
I think it's going to be an amazing game. They're bringing a lot of new mechanics into that game that I think Call of Duty and Battlefront or Battlefield have lacked in terms of like the squad base. The fact that Call of Duty and Battlefield, you can kind of do what you want, but in this one you have to work together. I think it's really good.
Charles, you used to be a big Rainbow Six player. I never really was, but I remember you talking about it. What are we looking for here? What's going to happen in this game? Is this something we should have on our radar or what?
I 100% think so. And like Steve said, I mean, just the changes, the upgrades. It's going to be a great game. It's in the vein of the Battlefield. It's the same idea, but great games. I mean, the same old third person.
plus, I
Yeah,
mean, you get 3 games for the price of 1 because you get the first 2 with the Xbox backwards compatibility if you buy it on the Xbox One. So I mean, there you go.
But I think the big thing that this game is bringing is like actual squad based that you have to work together to complete this goal, and it forces you to do that in certain missions. So I think it brings a whole new dynamic to multiplayer. You're not just running around a map shooting targets. You're actually thinking about what you need to do next.
So would this be like an ideal candidate game to have like the crew here on Geek Out get together and live stream our amazing, stealth tactics or what?
Oh yeah, I'm in.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, Mike. What Mike's alluding to is we're talking about possibly doing this, so we're just trying to think of a game to do it. But Mike, I think it'd be a great game. I don't think we'd be able to do it drunk because we wouldn't finish anything.
Not with that attitude.
I'm telling you, drunk gaming is where it's at, guys.
That's right.
But it's definitely a game that I think is going to be great, and they seem to be doing the same thing with the Division and with Ghost Recon. So I don't know about you guys, I'm actually really stoked for the Ghost Recon game. I was a huge Ghost Recon fan. I played it on the GameCube. Yeah. I played it on PlayStation 2. I bought all the games and played them all. I was a huge Ghost Recon fan. So I'm really looking forward to the new one.
Sweet.
And the Division. So, but yeah. Does anybody else have anything else to mention? Any more ramblings or anything like that, or we're just gonna quit here?
I think looks like he's trying to say something.
No. I was just gonna say they found liquid water on Mars. I don't know if you guys.
Liquid water.
They did, yeah. So you never know, boys.
Well, guys, we talked about mobile this week. We talked about gaming, obviously. We talked about a bunch of other stuff. What are your inputs about some of the things that we talked about here this week? Are you excited about the new BlackBerry? Could you give a shit? Are you excited about the new Android operating system? Or are you excited about the new Call of Duty games not having campaigns? Are you thinking the same way we're thinking, that this might be the way it's all going? Let us know in the comments below if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to us on iTunes, please share and subscribe. And as always, for all the latest news and reviews, we do have our review of The Taken King that Jason just did up on our website at thoseguysgeek.com. So go and share that and check out our Facebook page as well. But for now, we'll see you guys next week.